acknowledging the Honourable George Payne, Acting Prime Minister. Colonel Glenn Granham, Chief of Staff of the Barbados Defence Force, officers and enlisted ranks of the BDF, specially invited guests, honorees, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. I am delighted on behalf of the Prime Minister, Minister of National Security and Chairman of the BDF Board, to congratulate the men and women of the BDF who were honored this morning by being awarded medals for their service to Barbados and the sub-regional cooperative security grouping of the RSS, and those who have reached the mark and the rank of warrant officer and have received their official warrants. I thank you on behalf of the people of Barbados for your service, and I salute each of you on your achievements. Military history tells us that the award of decorations is the formal recognition of a military service person's participation in an operation, an individual's dedication to duty, an award for a long service, or an award for a specific action while in the service. The decoration is meant to be the end state, an award for a soldier's courage, commitment to duty, self-discipline, selflessness. Many men and women are called to serve, but few give the level of service that merits decorations. And therefore today, the men and women here join those elite members of the military world who, through their acts and service, have been deserving of recognition. The Barbadian public has seen and benefited from the contribution of the BDF over its 39 years of existence. I have seen your hard work and your courage firsthand. The force has responded on many occasions to safeguard Barbados' interests from the perils imposed by crises. The force's deployment throughout the region did not only start when Barbados became a member of the RSS. Indeed, the older ones among us will remember the BDF's deployment to Union Island in 1979. And although there was some criticism, Barbados signaled that it was willing to go to the assistance of a neighboring CARICOM state should the need arise. After the formation of the RSS in 1982, the BDF's deployments within the sub-region continued more frequently. And only a few days ago, we commemorated the 25th anniversary of the Grenada intervention. The Barbados Defence Force played a major role in that operation, which started on 25th October 1983, and we remained engaged in that operational theatre until 1985, when the country was well on its way back to democratic normalcy. To those members of the force who served in Operation Urgent Fury, we thank you for your service to the people of our sister island Grenada and the Caribbean region at large. Other BDF deployments included operations in Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Montserrat, Jamaica, and to the northern Leeward Islands of Tortola and the BVI. In all these operations, whether focused on security or disaster relief, the BDF performed above its perceived capabilities and made the people of Barbados proud. It also signaled to the region and to the world that though small in size and limited in resources, Barbados was willing and able to lead in responding to those incidences that threatened to destabilize this region, the zone of peace that we call the Caribbean, and certainly Barbados, our island home. The BDF's record at home needs very little mention because we have seen, benefited, and continue to benefit from the highest level of professionalism, creativity, and resilience. And let me state emphatically, the BDF is not merely an organization with manpower for disaster with relief. What the Barbados Defence Force is the defender of our nation. And while some may assert with some enthusiasm that there are no external threats to Barbados, our Barbadian military is responsible for the preservation of a safe and peaceful environment in our homeland, which is conducive for national development. The mandate of the Barbados Defence Force is to defend Barbados from internal and external threats to the national security of this island. And the threats we face are transnational and transregional, multidimensional, and often originate from stateless entities. And while we may not be fighting a war in the sense of the great wars of 1914 to 18 or World War II, 1939 to 1945, the contemporary security environment provides sufficient reason to maintain military organizations. Perhaps more appropriately called conflict rather than war, the contemporary military environment comprises military and civilian, state and non-state actors. It comprises sometimes the use of firearms, electronic devices, and it also, curiously enough, comprises the media. And although risk, danger, and death are all factors of war and in fact any modern conflict, those elements too have been redefined. Risk, danger, and death not only impact personal safety and lives, but there's also the destruction of our economies through such things as cyber attacks, social degradation as the result of illicit drugs and other forms of transnational crimes, the effect of terrorist networks, and now coming into sharp focus, the destabilizing capacity of such things as climate change and the increased intensity of natural hazards. Today's threat community is very complex and demands a multidisciplinary and multinational strategic response. And in treating to these, there must be a whole government approach that leverages the legal, social development, economic, law enforcement, and defense systems. We are challenged with many law enforcement threats, such as terrorism, that require military responses. Natural hazards increase our security vulnerability to all forms of threats. And yes, we need the military to assist us in stabilizing Barbados during a disaster, crisis, or emergency. So today's presentation is not just one of pomp and circumstance. It is not just one of ceremony. It is one of sincere and deeply felt recognition. It is one of thanks on behalf of our small but grateful nation. It is one whereby the members of the force can rededicate themselves to the service of our country and to the regional security system. I urge all members of the Barbados Defense Force to continue this noble endeavor, to serve your country with distinction. And especially, I wish you success in the years ahead. Thank you.